Okay, this is a review for the South Pacific, Antarctic, and Australia test at the end of semester 2 of World Cultural Geography. So I pulled up a map because there are lots of map questions on the test. And the first thing we want to look at is Australia. Okay, so we want to talk about some of the geographical features, the major landforms. We have the Western Plateau, which is here. We have the Central Lowlands, which is here. And the Eastern Highlands, which is right along the coast over here. All right, up here we have the Gulf of Carpentaria, and you're going to need to know where that is. If we look at, I want to look at the dry, flat, mostly uninhabited region of Australia. It's going to be in this area, and that is called the Outback. I want to look at the regions of the Pacific Islands. Okay, this is a good map for that. There's 3 regions in the Pacific Islands. Okay, we have Micronesia up here, Melanesia here, and Polynesia over here. Micronesia, Melanesia, Polynesia. You have to remember those. Another thing we have to know are the 2 main islands of New Zealand. Here's New Zealand. North Island is one main island, South Island is another. It has other little islands, but those are the 2 main ones. You're going to want to know that many of Oceania's religions were polytheistic. That means they believed in more than one god. Another thing you're going to want to know is that around 300 CE, it's believed that Polynesians may have reached the western coast of South America right here. So they would have gone around across the Pacific Ocean to South America, where they learned about sweet potatoes. So it's South America where they would have gone to learn about that. Okay, there's a thing called the Antarctic Treaty, and you need to know a few things about that. It bans military activity on the continent. That's this down here. It allows for freedom of scientific investigation, and scientific observations there are shared with the world or with other people who sign the treaty. All right. You need to know a side effect of introducing foreign species into a new environment, and that is the introduction of new diseases into the human population. You need to know which expedition was the first to reach the South Pole, and that is Roald Amundson's party. You need to know that the many diverse languages of the Pacific world can be traced to the Austronesian language family. You need to know that a big difference between poverty on the islands, okay, and these islands here, they're very poor compared to, our standards. But they are really able to feed themselves quite well through subsistence agriculture. Okay, and that just means they grow what they need to eat. You need to know that Sydney, Australia, right here, has been labeled an alpha city, and you need to know what an alpha city is. It's a city that is an important hub in the global economic system. Okay, so it's like a big city that's important to economics. You need to know that the outback covers more than 75% of Australia. That's a lot. You need to know that phonology is the study and analysis of speech sounds in phonetics and phonemics. You need to know that the Great Barrier Reef, I'll pull out a little bit there, okay. I'm going to try to find it on the map. Oh, right there, right in front of me. The Great Barrier Reef runs along the northeastern coast of Australia. Back to Antarctica. Oops. Nope. My computer is going very slow. Huh. Oh, Antarctica. Okay. Gas bubbles and pollutants buried within the layers of Antarctic ice are, in essence, records of Earth's air. Okay, so all those little gas bubbles and pollutants and things buried within the layers of ice are records of our air on Earth. It's really interesting. You need to know that in 1991, 39 nations signed the Madrid Protocol to spearhead a movement to protect Antarctica. You need to know that, let's go back to Australia. You need to know that the Great Barrier Reef is the world's largest coral reef system. And geological evidence shows that the Great Barrier Reef began growing over 25 million years ago. You need to know, let's see, you need to know that this thing here called the Nullarbor Plain is the flattest landform region on Earth. Oops, I went too far. Anyway, it's right here. You need to know where the Great Barrier Reef is located, that it's in the northeast part of off the coast of Australia. You need to know that Australia consists of 6 states and 2 federal territories. So I'm guessing this is a state, 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 this is a state. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And here's a territory, and here's a territory. You need to know that, let's look here, Polynesia, back to Polynesia. All right, Polynesia right here. You need to know that that stretches from Hawaii to New Zealand. And it's the largest of these 3 island regions. And we talked about these 3 island regions. Polynesia is the largest. It goes from Hawaii to New Zealand. You need to know that by 3000 BCE, traders from Southeast Asia visited the northern coasts of New Guinea. Here. Traders from Southeast Asia visited those in 3000 BCE. That was a really, really, really long time ago. About 5,000 years ago. You need to know the main purpose for European colonization of Australia. You might have heard this before, but it was basically they sent their prisoners there. It was called a penal colony. Penal, like being punished. So that's what it was there for. And England and other European countries sent all their prisoners there. So actually, the people of Australia are descendants of criminals, but a lot of them were just debtors. Like if you owed a little bit of money, they'd put you there. Um, the South Pole was not mapped until the 19th century. One of the leading European explorers of this area was Captain James Cook. And I think there's some islands. Yep, there they are, Cook Islands. They were named after him. Which of the following countries has the most territory per the Antarctic Treaty? And that's Australia. Australia has the most territory. The Austronesian languages are divided into two branches. The Indonesian, Indonesian and Oceanic. Okay, that's the Austronesian languages. Two branches, Indonesian and Oceanic. Which of the following is a false statement regarding Sydney? Okay. Well, let's focus on the positive things about Sydney. Sydney's temperate climate allows residents to enjoy outdoor activities pretty much year-round. The quality of life surveys often rank Sydney high compared to other big cities. And Sydney continues to see expanded career opportunities for its residents. Those are all true statements about Sydney. 90% of Australians live in coastal cities, and you can imagine why, because this area is all dry and difficult to live in, dry and hot. Let's talk about threats to the barrier reef, the Great Barrier Reef. Overfishing is a threat, pollution is a threat, and global warming is a threat. The polar regions are often nicknamed global thermostats. You want to know about Antarctica's role in the Earth's climate? Remember, it acts as an ice shield, keeping the Earth cool by reflecting the sun's heat rather than absorbing it. You want to know the definition of a carbon footprint? That it's the total amount of greenhouse gases produced by individuals or other entities in a given time period. That's the definition of a carbon footprint. And you also want to know the scientific findings from studying underground ice. Okay, that there's increasing levels of lead since the Industrial Revolution. This is in the ice in Antarctica. A signature of pollution caused by the atomic bomb tests in the 1950s and 1960s. And there's carbon particles created by forest fires in the tropics. So all the burning in the tropics, burning down of the forests, that mainly happened in, I believe, South America, where they're burning to make land for agriculture, farms. All right, if you have any questions, call your teacher.